All right. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where it is that you are actually tuning in from. I want to say welcome to those of you that are watching live. And if you are live, feel free to drop into the comments and just let me know that you're here. You can also let me know where it is that you're watching from. And if you are, in fact, watching the replay, then welcome to you as well. Now, you can also feel free to drop it in and let me know where you're watching from. And later on, I'll come back in and say hello to you. So, for those of you that are on with me or that have been on any of my previous trainings, you probably know that I'm always going to suggest that you have some way of taking notes, whether that is, physically writing it out with a, pen and paper, or using a Google Doc, or taking the information and putting it into the Notes app on your phone. However it is, just have a way of actually taking notes, because this is going to be some really valuable information for you. And I would encourage you to come back to this on a regular basis and just check your notes and just make sure you aren't doing any of the things that could potentially delay you in terms of progressing in your business. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. What I'm going to be sharing are mistakes that people who are new or newer to building an online business tend to make, because either they are not aware of them, or they are aware of them, but they just don't know how to get around it. And so I'm going to be sharing with you 11 specific items. And then I've actually come up with a few more that I'm going to throw in as bonuses, because I think they're just as important as all of the rest. All right. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Rhonda M. Jordan, and I focus on teaching individuals who are 45 years of age and older how to build an online business, which includes building an audience from scratch using content creation, also teaching you how to build an email list, also showing you how to create and sell digital products, and finally, teaching you how you can earn income via affiliate marketing. So if any of those things are, things you're interested in, then by all means, you are definitely in the right place. Additionally, if you are outside of that 45, maybe you're younger than that, you're welcome here as well, because I have lots of individuals that are in their 20s and 30s that are part of my audience. And I always say all are welcome here. So let's go ahead and get ready to get into the information. So the first thing that I want to do is to talk to you about why these things will delay your business. Maybe we'll start there. And it's because, sometimes when you're looking at someone and they've been online for a while, you just kind of think that, they came to this, they were made for it, they, were born to do this, and so forth. Well, I can tell you that that is likely not the case. And in a couple of ways, that should make you feel good, because if you're experiencing any of these things, they probably did as well. They just figured out how to work through it. So I want you to know that you too can work through it, because really anything we do in a business such as this, you can learn. So once you learn it, or you identify that it's a challenge for you, now you just figure out how to resolve it. And so, as I mentioned, a lot of the things I'm actually going to be sharing with you are things I've personally dealt with, and so have a lot of online business owners. So you can learn from my experience. And if you're going through any of these right now, again, some of the suggestions that I'll be giving you should help you work through them. Okay. So, there's one in particular that I'm going to point out to you, and I definitely have a solution for you. I have a solution for all of these, but there's one in particular. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the fact that when most people want to build a business, an online business, especially if they've heard about digital products, that's really what they want to start doing right away. They just want to get to the point of being able to create products and sell them to people and make money. Well, there's a whole lot of steps that happen before that. And so this is where sometimes we run into the challenges, because we realize now I got to deal with all this stuff I either don't know or that is in my head and then is holding me back and so forth. So let's go ahead and I want to start from the very beginning on a mistake that I see a lot of creators make, a lot of, new online business owners make. And the first thing is, and I'm looking at my notes here, so if you see me look over, that's what I'm looking at. A lot is just not having a clear niche. And let me give you an example. Let's say that, for example, you want to help women lose weight. That's your goal. You've decided that you know how to do it, you've done it successfully, and so forth. Well, just helping women lose weight is a very broad area. You need to have a very clear niche. That's why you heard me say I work with individuals that are 45 years of age and older, and I teach them how to build a business from scratch that ultimately allows them. I shared that with you because I've thought through this. You have to clarify your niche because just saying women is too vague. Are they young women? Are they older women? Are they women with that have just recently had a baby and so forth? The more clear you can get on your niche, the more likely you are going to attract the audience that you ultimately want to attract. So I want you to get out of your head that you're trying to help everyone. You're not. So let's say, for example, you have decided that your niche, after hearing this, is going to be helping women who are, in menopause, let's say, let's go through that, who are in menopause, lose weight and eat healthy. Maybe that's now your niche. So, what that's going to do is it's going to clearly identify who it is that you're able to help, and it's going to repel the people that don't really fall into that. Now, there might be individuals outside of that will follow you, and that's okay. But just please understand if you are not clear on your niche, you're going to be attracting a whole bunch of people. But at the same time, these folks are going to come into your world and immediately leave because they're going to realize the stuff that you're talking about just does not apply to them or is not going to resolve their issue. Let's say it that way. Okay, so be very clear, get it crystal clear on who it is you help. And one thing I want to share with you is years ago, probably in 2022, and I'm going to be sharing this in a course that I'm actually creating. But I defined my ideal customer, and that's what I'm asking you to do in addition to making sure that you have a clear niche. And what's really interesting to me is when people respond to me, I just had a couple of comments that came through to me from my YouTube videos recently, and people are like, I'm so glad that you are teaching women, or teaching people over 40 years of age. I'm glad you structure your videos in a certain way that I can easily follow them. And then I went back to my ideal customer who I know like the back of my head. And I'll share that person with you at some point. And it's almost identical to who I identified. So clear niche, identify your ideal customer within that niche. All right, now the second issue that people experience, number two, is they skip the market research because, they might be really interested in something and they want to really go with it, but they haven't really researched the market to figure out whether or not it's a good idea. And this tends to happen more so not in identifying your niche, but when you get to the point of creating content or you get to the point of creating lead magnets and products. That's where I tend to see it. So what do I mean by validating things? Well, the first thing I want you to do is to take whatever your primary area of focus is going to be, your niche, and I want you to drop it into Google and see what kind of results you're getting back. I want you to go over to Amazon. I want you to do the same thing. Drop it in and see what kind of results you're getting back. If you are getting results back, if people are already interested, maybe there are Kindle books or regular books that have been written on that, then you know that this is something that can work. I'll say it that way, not that it's definitely going to work, but you have to validate your idea. So for example, for me, if I'm talking about building an audience, if I were to type in building an audience from scratch into YouTube or Google, I know there are going to be videos that pop back on that. And now you might be thinking to yourself, well, that means people are already doing it. That market must be saturated. No, I will tell you this, and you need to put this in your notes, which is nobody can do what you do in the way that you do it, which means you and I could be teaching the exact same thing. I'm going to teach it one way, you're going to teach it another way. There's room for both of us. There's room for lots of us. I'll say it that way because you have to think about, for example, look at fast food restaurants. What if somebody just got a license for a McDonald's and they look across the street and there's a Burger King? Do you think they feel like they can't compete? No, they absolutely can. The reality is they both sell burgers, but they're different types of burgers that they sell. So get out of your head that because somebody else is doing it, you can't be successful in it. You can absolutely compete because you're going to let your personality come through. You're going to present information in a certain way. You're going to let your puppy jump up on your lap, and that puppy has now become part of your brand. You're going to do whatever works for you. So that way, you know for a fact that not only have you validated the idea, but there's a place for you in that particular area of expertise. All right. Okay. So let me go ahead and take a look. Oh, I see Mickey's here. So no problem. I'm glad to hear that you are here with us. The next thing, yeah, you and me both, Denise. I got on the scale this morning. It was a little scary. So, yeah, absolutely. And then let's see here. Is that Celia here? Finally able to get on a live session. Well, welcome to you. I'm so glad that you are here. And Marilyn says, great information for those of us over 40. Absolutely. That's who I'm, working with. Now I'm well over 40. I'll be 63 in a few months here. So, I'm all about teaching folks who are 45 and over simply, and like I said, even over 40, simply because we're going to process things in a certain way. The other thing I'm going to say to you is this, which is you being 40 and older, you have a wealth of knowledge. There's something like the back of your hand that you can teach other people. There's something someone is coming to you with and saying, could you teach me how to do that? And without thinking about it, you could sit down and give them a 15-minute breakdown without taking a breath because you know it so well. So that's why I love working with people who are more seasoned. I always say we're entering our second act because, we're feeling better, we're living longer. We want to get out and enjoy things. And it doesn't mean that even if we decide to retire, we're going to sit at home and do nothing. Absolutely not. We've got too much life to live and too much knowledge within us that we can share with other people. So I'm loving teaching this group of individuals. So that kind of got me off on a tangent there, but I'm passionate about it. Hopefully that's what you hear coming through. So let me just quickly recap 1 and 2 since I got on my tangent, which is start with a clear niche. That's what a lot of people don't do. They want to, make coffee one day and film that, and then the next day they want to get out into the garden. Now, if vlogging is your life, then that could be your niche. But if you're trying to attract an audience, more likely than not, you need to be focused in on a specific niche. Then you can add some other stuff on later. The second thing was skipping the market research to know whether or not what it is you want to teach is going to be valid. For example, maybe you teach basket weaving, but if you decide that you're going to teach basket weaving to 5-year-olds, probably not a good niche. Okay. So that's what I'm saying in terms of actually skipping the market research. All right. Number 3, not posting content consistently. You have to do it. When I say content, this is where you're going to be sharing things like tips on how to do whatever it is you do. This is where you're going to be sharing strategies. This is where you're going to be teaching specific things and demonstrating it if that's, what it is, if what you do can be demonstrated. In most cases, it can either physically be demonstrated or you can talk through it. So, you've got to post content consistently, and it's not as difficult as you might think it is. In my community, earlier this month, we did a 5-day challenge where I gave them 5 definite ideas of content that they could post on a specific day. And the thing is, that's just to get you started. You have to keep going. And when I say posting content consistently, when you're trying to build an audience from scratch, you need to be focused in on posting for at least 90 consecutive days. Now, I'm not saying you can't reuse some content during that 90 days, because you absolutely can. But you've got to do it. And then what happens after 90 days? Do you get to stop posting? No, you got to do another 90 days and then another 90 days after that. Think about your favorite creators. They're posting something pretty much every day. Now, they might have content that, if they're going to be on vacation, they may skip a few days. But in most cases, even then, they're going to schedule content and have it go out. Why is content and posting consistently, something you need to do? Because it's that content that's going to bring in your audience, particularly if you're building from scratch. See, the thing that I love about this time that we're in right now is that the algorithms on the different platforms are going to show your content to people that don't know you at all, which simply means you have a chance to be found by a number of people. I'm going to give you a great example. Let's see, with the exception of Mickey and Denise, who are family members, both of them, and that's full disclosure, I want you to tell me how you found me. How did I come into your view? Just drop it in the content or in the comments so I can see. And I'm going to prove something with you by going through this. And if it works for me, it will absolutely work for you. And this is why I harp so much on posting content to build an audience. And even once you have an audience built, if you want to continue growing it, you have to continue posting content. Now, I'm not talking about being on the hamster wheel and every day has to be something brand new. No, you can certainly reuse and you can repurpose content that you've already created. I do it all the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me just see on YouTube. So, Celia, I'm assuming were you searching for something and you found one of my videos? Let me know whether or not that's how it happened. And anybody else that is on, just let me know how you found it, because I'd be willing to bet you were probably searching for something and then I popped up as an option, probably served up to you by the YouTube algorithm, because I doubt you were specifically searching for me. And this is why I want you all to understand that this is so important, because you're going to have the chance to be found by people. And there used to be a time where this wasn't the case. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were on Instagram and you had 100 followers. There was a time where the only people that would see your content were those 100 followers. That is no longer the case anymore. So this is a perfect time for you to be able to get found by people that are looking for whatever it is you offer and that are willing to come into your world. Okay, let's see here. So Celia says that I didn't mean to pop that one up there, that's your biggest problem. I think what you meant was being consistent with content, not being consistent with it. You said you found me on YouTube over a year ago. Let's see here. All right. Mickey says, you are so right. I've been allowing my health to totally get in the way. And I have to remember that I don't have to post every day. I can post once a week until I'm able to post. Absolutely. Because your health comes before anything. I'm always going to tell you that. From personal experience here in my household with some things my husband has dealt with, I'm always going to tell you to take care of you first. Okay, I don't believe in the hustle culture. I don't believe in bro marketing, which is, we'll sleep when we're dead. No, if I'm not feeling well, if you're not feeling well, take care of yourself. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that. All right, so let's see here. So you were searching to make digital content. Okay, great. And it says, Denise says, even though you're family, I didn't watch until one of your videos popped up on my YouTube feed. Exactly. And see, that's how you're going to be found. That's why you got to consistently post, because you never know when someone is going to log on for the very first time and say, I'm interested in whatever. And then what happens is, because you've created a video on that, now you pop up in their feed. Let's see here. Okay, this is Louisa. I probably should have my or glasses on. You said you were searching for how to make an ebook. Yeah, I have a whole ebook series on that. So this is proof. So that's why I'm saying, posting things that people are looking for is going to help you bring in the audience that you ultimately want to work with. So if nothing else, make sure you're posting consistently to get your audience to grow, particularly if you're doing it from scratch. All right, now here's the next thing I want to get in. This is number 4. So 1 and 2, starting without a clear niche. Number 2, skipping market research. 3, not posting consistently. Number 4, neglecting your personal development. See, in this type of a business or entrepreneurship overall, one of the things that you're going to have to do is really, you have to shift from being an employee to having that entrepreneur mindset, because it's different. At the end of the day, when you're an employee, for the most part, you can go home. You don't have to worry about things. But when you are an entrepreneur, you're worrying about all of it, because it's your baby. It's your thing. And so it gets tough, mentally tough. And that's why I always encourage people to read books, to listen to audiobooks, to attend trainings. Get on this, because at the end of every single one of my live streams, I'm going to do a topic on mindset. You can count on that. And it's because your mindset has to be established to the point of, where we have to work on it every single day to keep us going, because you're going to have challenges. You are going to have things go wrong. You are just not going to feel like it sometimes, but sometimes listening to something can get you back up. Somebody's going to post a mean comment on your content, whatever it happens to be. Somebody's going to say something just utterly ridiculous. And remember, that's just keyboard courage. So we don't deal with those people. All we do is delete. I don't even delete their comments anymore, unless it's something just, racist or rude. But if it's just, something weird, they didn't like the way I said something, or my hair was falling to the wrong side, I'm leaving it, because I look at it like this. That's engagement. And, engagement is what's going to increase the number of people that YouTube is going to show my videos to. Same thing applies to you. But I just want you to really understand, it is important that you get your mindset focused and ready to go. You have to think about it in terms of, I'm going to experience some challenges. I'm going to go through some things that are going to make me uncomfortable. I'm going to have to deal with some things that I'm a little fearful about. So fearful such as, maybe I don't want to get in front of a camera, but I know I need to. And so that's where going through some mindset training and personal development is actually going to help you. Because here's what I can tell you. If you decide you want to stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. And I know that the reason why you are sitting on this live stream right now is there is something within you that says, I have something I want to share. I have something that I want to get out into the world. And here's the other thing I'm going to tell you, and I say this all the time, which is there is someone right now wanting to learn from you. They don't even know you exist. But once they find you, they're going to tune into your content. They're going to watch it on a regular basis. So you cannot afford to rob them of the ability to learn from you. Write that in your notes. That you refuse to rob someone of the opportunity to learn from you. And this is the way you have to do things. Another thing I'm going to say about this is, You have to build what I call bounce back files. Okay. Now, to me, let me tell you what a bounce back file is. That is a mental file in your head that when you experience something, you are able to go to that file mentally, listen to it, replay it, think about it, and get back in the game. So, when I just said to you, right now, there is someone waiting to learn from you, and you cannot rob them of that. I want that to be part of your bounce back files because when somebody says something ridiculous to you and you feel like you want to just stop producing content, I need you to go to that file and say, I refuse to rob someone of learning from me. Okay, so you've got to build these bounce back files so that you can get to them quickly and get back on track. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, let's see here. And Celia says, oh, and I stick with you because, oh, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, my whole goal again is to make sure that I'm giving you the stuff that's going to allow you to experience whatever the dreams and goals are that you have. So, yes, you cannot rob people. And like I said, you got to remember that because I promise you there's somebody that wants to learn only from you. They love your style. They love your southern accent. They love your Midwestern or New York accent. They love the way you laugh when you're presenting content. They love your accent. They love, that you're a little bit overweight. They love that, like me, I have crooked teeth in the front. They love all that stuff. And they're like, okay, this is my person. This is my mentor. This is my coach. So remember that. All right. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and let's move on to, and let me give you some information on mindset training that you can get to on a regular basis. Of course, books. If you go to my Amazon store, I'll pop that up in a little bit. I've got a whole slew of books. But another place that you can get books or get content, just go to YouTube and type in mindset training. And there's going to be something that will pop up that you can listen to that will help you out. And you're going to find that there are going to be some people that you really enjoy listening to, and it helps to get you going. So you don't always have to spend money to get it. You can get some things by just simply going to YouTube. All right, now, here's the thing that oh my goodness, people do all the time. And I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I'm just making you aware of it, which is they wait too long to build an email list. Now, let me tell you why this is so important. Because remember, when you are building on a social media platform, you don't own that platform. You don't even own the subscribers or followers on that platform. And when I say own, I mean they're not somewhere in a personal database. So you have to think of your social media platform, or if you are building on, let's say, YouTube as your traffic source. That's how people are going to find you. It's nothing more than a traffic source to you. And what your goal is to move them from that social media platform or YouTube over to your email list, because you own that email list. That's an asset in your business. And I always talk assets. I'm a former certified public accountant, but it's an asset in your business. That's something you own. And here's the other thing about building an email list. It's the thing that is going to allow you to connect and nurture your audience, for them to get to know you and so forth. And most of the people that are going to end up buying your digital products are going to come from your email list, people that have been with you for a while. 40% more of your email list, I'm going to say it this way, is going to be 40 times more effective at selling your digital products or whatever it is that you're selling than cold traffic coming to you from a social media platform. That's why you got to build an email list. The other thing is, what if a platform shuts down? What if that platform kicks you off and that's the only connection you have with people is they've subscribed to you or they follow you? Well, you lose all of that connection. So your job is to create a lead magnet that is going to move people from your social media platform or YouTube over to your email list. Now, shameless plug here, I'm going to put it out there. If you want to, we're running a 5-day challenge. It won't cost you anything. And I'm doing it inside of my community on School, which is the Digital Business Roadmap. Now, click the link below this video. You can join the community at no cost. The challenge begins on Monday, May 4th. I'm doing a kickoff video this Friday at noon, and you'll be able to see it by being in the community. Now, why do I encourage you to do that? Because what we're going to do over the course of that week is we're going to go from concept, which is complete idea, not knowing, all the way to launching the product. We're going to launch your lead magnet on Friday, a week from this Friday. So in 5 days, you're going to go from idea to outlining it, to creating it, to putting together a landing page. I'm going to walk you through all of that, and you will have it ready to go. And so by I forget the date of that, it might be, I don't know, the 7th or 8th, whatever that Friday is, you're going to have a lead magnet that you can begin promoting. That lead magnet is going to bring people into your email list. And now you're starting to grow it. So I want you to understand the importance of this, because it's just not a good idea to only have a connection with people on your social media platform. Just not at all a good idea. All right. Okay. So that was number 5, is waiting too long. You should be building your email list. I don't care if you only have 5 followers. Put together a lead magnet and start growing your your email list, as soon as possible. All right. Now, the next thing, number 6. Let me see here. Do I have any questions that I need to address? Let's see here. Please send info on the challenge. All right. So the challenge, let's see here. Give me 1 second if I can. I think I can just copy the link to get to, because you're going to have to come in through the community. Bear with me 1 second while I get to the link for you, and then I'll just copy it in, and this will allow you to join the community. So let me do this. Why is it not letting me? There we go. All right. So that should get you, that's the link to get to the community. Like I said, you can join at no cost. I always tell people this. I do have additional levels within my community that if you want additional access to me and other courses and so forth, you can do that. But for this part, everybody in the community is able to participate, whether you are someone that just came in or someone that's been with me for a while. All right. So the next thing, number 6, is creating digital products without an audience. Here's what I started talking about this at the very beginning, which is that people will get really excited. They decide on the niche. They have 0 audience, and they'll create digital products. Well, first of all, how do you even know that that's the digital product that your audience, and I say audience because you don't have one, really wants? The second thing is, who's going to buy it? Because you don't have an audience. So you might say to yourself, well, I could sell it on Etsy. You can, but I don't recommend that. And the reason why I don't recommend you sell on Etsy is, number 1, Etsy is a crowded platform. Now, supply and demand, basic supply and demand. If you go over and you pop something onto Etsy, number 1, you're going to pay a listing fee. The second thing is, let's say your product is worth every bit of, $97, every bit of it. Once you get over and you find that other people are selling that exact same product for $27 or $15, you're probably not going to get many sales, because why would they buy from you when they could buy a similar thing from someone else for way less. This is why, oh, and the other way that you can actually get sales without having audience is you can run ads. But here's what I'll tell you. It takes some skill to learn how to create ads that are effective, and it costs money to run them. I'm not against spending money, but to me, if you don't even have an audience, I don't think I would invest money in a product that you don't even know is going to work. The better way of doing it, oh, let me go back to the Etsy thing. You don't even own those customers, okay? So you don't even have a way to really connect with them afterwards because those customers belong to Etsy. I, in turn, recommend that you sell on your own platform. And I have a specific platform that I recommend, which is System.io. I've got a link below. Full disclosure, it is an affiliate link, but you can set up a System.io account, landing page, and also a funnel, one funnel at no cost. And you can send your emails through it. It's an all-in-one platform that I would encourage you to check out. Now, the other reason why I want you to do that is when you are selling on your own platform and you have driven traffic over there, that $97 product that you created, you can sell it for $97 because you've eliminated the competition by selling on your own platform. And so this is what I'm teaching within the community, which is let's build our own audiences, and then we're going to create a lead magnet. And then next month, our challenge is going to be we're going to create a digital product. When I say next month, I'm thinking June already. Okay, in June, we're going to create our first digital product, start to finish, in 1 week and launch it on that Friday. Same kind of concept. So this stuff is not as difficult as you might think it is, but you need to be guided through it. And once you get it, you've got it. You can continue to to do the process over and over again. So just wanted to make sure that I covered that with you. So I don't want you to create it. I want you to generate or build an audience, create an email list, or actually ask your audience through your email list. You're going to ask them, what type of product would you like for me to create? What are you struggling with? So now, once they tell you what the product is or what it is they're struggling with, you can create the exact product that they want. And now you have a much better chance of that selling because they've told you that's what they want you to make. Okay, so that's how I think in terms of this actual process. All right, so the next thing, number 7, is making content that does not lead to either a lead magnet or a digital product. Here's what I mean. So think in terms of reverse engineering something. You have this product, all right? And this is what you ultimately want to sell. So what you really should do to reverse engineer it is, here's your product. You've got to create the content that's going to lead people right back to that digital product that you've created. And if you don't yet have a digital product, then what you're going to do is create the content that's going to lead people to a lead magnet. So either way, you're winning. You're either getting the email address from someone that you can now start to communicate with, or you're actually going to earn income from the digital product that you're going to sell. Now, in time, that lead magnet that you're creating, once you have figured out what the digital product is, your call to action at the end of that lead magnet is going to be the digital product. So even those need to connect. Once you get to the point where you realize it's content, which is going to lead to the lead magnet, which is going to lead to the digital product, now it makes sense. So you'll think in terms of what type of content am I going to create? And that content is going to, just kind of stir up the problem, if you will. It's going to solve the problem, but then you're going to be sharing with people, hey, If you want to go a little bit deeper, I've created a handy guide that's going to help you. So you can get that by simply putting your going to this page, drop in your email list or email address, and then I'll send this over to you. Now, you're not sending it, your autoresponder within System.io or whichever program you're using is going to do it for you. But that's the way I want you to be thinking about things. This is how you're going to get sales on autopilot. It's how you're going to get grow your email list on autopilot. Because I want you to get to the point where you wake up in the morning and you've got new people that have joined your email list. I want you to get to the point where you wake up in the morning and you have new sales. The Stripe account has gone off and it's dinging or whatever, so that you know that you've made money even while you were sleeping or on vacation or nursing yourself back to health or, taking care of someone else. That's what I want you to understand and what I want you to be able to experience. And once you learn the steps and the strategies, you can do it. So we're going to start making sure that all of our content is going to lead to either a lead magnet or in time over to a digital product that you've created. All right, number 8, not repurposing content. Listen, we're not here to be working 24/7. We've done that. Come on, let's face it, we're older. We got things to do, places to be, and TV shows to catch up on. I'm a Will Trent fan. I didn't get to watch it last night, so that's what I'm going to be doing later this afternoon, which means I got to make my content work for me. See, each of your pieces of content, you've got to think of that as like a mini sales machine or something that's out there advertising something you can solve, and it's going to go to work for you. So how do you repurpose content? Sometimes with me, all I do is change the color and repost it. Sometimes I'll reword something I've already posted. Sometimes I will rephrase it and come at it from a different angle and repost it. See, I don't ever want you to be on what I call the content creation hamster wheel. When I was talking about posting for 90 consecutive days, here's what I would tell you. The first 30 days, I'd create fresh content. By about day 45, maybe even up to day 45. But from that point forward, I'm reusing some of that content that was posted earlier. Now, why am I able to do that? And why are you able to do it? Because you have to understand that on different platforms, the content is only going to be shown to about 3 to 4% of your audience. That means 96% of the people in your audience right now are never going to see it. So you don't have to, but you can post it again, and the people that didn't see it previously, maybe they'll have the chance to see it this time. The second part about that is new people are going to be finding you all the time. So if you posted something in March and then you turn around and you repost it in June, chances are the people who came into your world after that first time it was posted, obviously they never saw it. So it's a chance for them to get to see it. So repurposing your content is going to be a great way of allowing yourself to actually, be able to take some breaks. And so how could you repurpose it? Because there's a difference between reusing it and repurposing it. Let's say that I created a poll and I talked about, I gave people 4 options and asked them to actually choose from that. If I'm going to repurpose that, now I can come back in, take the most popular answer and say, I was a little surprised to find out that people prefer ebooks over courses. And then I just pop something else in there. Now, reusing it just simply means that you're going to repost the exact same thing. Now, be careful with certain platforms. Facebook and Instagram are like this. They don't necessarily like for you to reuse the exact same thing. So change a few words around, change the colors up, use a different picture. There's always ways around this stuff so that you don't have to. And then one of your best tools is going to be the scheduling feature, which means you can create this stuff, you put it into the scheduler, and it will automatically post the content for you. Okay, so you can do that with Facebook, you can do that with Instagram, you can do that with the post page for YouTube. And so I also want to clear one thing up. When I talk about posting something every single day, let's say YouTube is in fact your platform of choice. I don't mean releasing a video every day. What I want you to do is to use the YouTube post page as your place you're going to be posting every day. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let me go in and show this to you. And a lot of times people don't even realize that this is available to them. Okay, so here is my YouTube post page. All right. So this is where I'm talking about you're probably making mistakes 5 and 11. Okay, I posted that. Well, this exact same link is what I posted yesterday when I started telling people about the live. And I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. The content you're watching right now, I did this content maybe 6 months ago. Okay. I changed it up a little bit, but I actually practice what I talk about. So please understand that, you're going to have new people and it's a chance for you to actually make your content work for you. All right. Okay. Number 9, and this is a big one, is avoiding video or just showing up. All right. And here's what I mean by avoiding video. Some of you you want to only do faceless, and you might have a reason why you only want to do faceless. But some of you don't have a reason why you want to do faceless. You're just afraid to get in front of the camera. And this is where I was saying you got to get outside of your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens, outside of your comfort zone. Heck, we're all scared. None of us was interested in just being a video star. Now, I'm not going to say none of us. That's probably a stretch. Most of us, all right? Most of us had to get really comfortable doing this. And it started off by being really bad. We had to be really, really bad on camera. We weren't looking at the camera. We didn't know how to put together our thoughts so that we could convey them clearly. We didn't have great audio. We didn't have the best camera. We did all of this. So we could have either used those as excuses of not getting in front of the camera, or we could face our fears and then just do it. And it's one of those things where once you do it a few times, it definitely gets easier. And once you do it a few more times, it definitely gets easier. So don't avoid video, because the reason why we can very easily connect with people, and it's because they see us. They see us talking. And when they get on a live stream with us and they can communicate and we can respond to them, it makes us more real to them, not just to them, but to anybody who is watching us. So if video is something you want to do, but you're terrified of doing it, the little trick that I would tell you is use your cell phone if that's what you have available. And what I want you to do is to record a video every single day that's only 1 minute long, and don't even post it. All I want you to do is get accustomed to creating videos. And then once you get a little bit more courage, then I want you to post it onto YouTube if that's what you're using. If you're using Facebook or Instagram, post it there, wherever it happens to be. But video allows us to connect faster with people than just our written words. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so Maryland, I did post the information on the community. Let's see here. Okay, so Celia says, I'm part of the community, but I've been absent due to work stress and health issues, but I'll join the challenge. Listen, the thing about the community is you get in where you fit in. This is not about me taking attendance and making sure that you're there every week or every day. It's not that. You get to work at your own pace in the community. The courses are recorded and you're actually going to go through them as you need to. Now, with the challenge, we're going to do that over the course of the week. And that way you have the other members of the community who are doing the same thing as you. And I didn't even share this in the community, but I'm going to tell you guys about it. So on Friday, for everybody who does in fact post or get their lead magnet done, I'm going to promote it. I'm going to promote it in the community. And then I think what I'll do is on a live stream, I'll share your lead magnet because that could be a way for you to potentially get some subscribers as well. If you did the hard work of getting the lead magnet done, I want to be able to, celebrate you and help you move your business forward. So I'll make sure to do that as well. All right. So let's see here. Yes, you want to do that. Awesome. And let's see. I went and joined the school group. Is that where the challenge information will begin to be posted? Matter of fact, I'll approve you in just a second. But yes, that's where it's going to be posted. So the kickoff, just to give you an understanding of how things will work, I'll do a kickoff live stream where I give an overview of the challenge and what we're going to be doing each day. And then each day, I'm going to go ahead and do a recorded video, and I'll probably get that posted by like 6 a.m. so that you have the entire day to work on things. And when I say 6 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern time, all right? But yes, each day there will be a post within the community, and it will actually show you what it is that you should be focused on for that day. Give me one second. Let me see if I can go over to, let's see here. Okay. All right, Marilyn, I just approved you, so you're in. I'm going to show you an example of what we did for our community post. Let me start here. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we're in the community, and here, we did a content momentum challenge where we posted for 5 days during the course of the week. So here I did, here's the post on the content momentum. Let's see here. So what I did is I gave them the information and broke it all down and essentially said, once you're done, drop it in. So that's how you will actually see it going forward. It will be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. And then it will, in fact, I'll have the challenge available for others, but it's going to go into one of the paid portions of my group. It's only like $49 a year, but it will be there. So in the event you ever want to do it later. All right. So that way you can do it. Now, the next thing, so let me recap all this so you have it again. Number 1, starting without a clear niche. Number 2, skipping market research. Number 3, not posting consistently. Number 4, neglecting your personal development. Number 5, waiting too long to build an email list. Number 6, creating digital products with no audience. Number 7 is making content that does not lead to a product or lead magnet. Number 8 was not repurposing your content. Number 9 was avoiding video. Number 10, overthinking tech. Listen, we're just going to go with the basic stuff. Just go with the minimal viable tools that you need, because I don't want you to have to do a full-on analysis of a specific tool before you can get started. No, just go with the basic stuff. Canva, System.io, or something similar to it. The easiest stuff so we can get going, because oftentimes this just simply becomes a way to avoid doing what you really should be doing. So I'm not going to go into a lot of that because you all understand that's the analysis paralysis. You're getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. No, we're going to get ready and do it. That's the whole goal. We don't have time to sit and think all this stuff through, because oftentimes that, again, is just an excuse. And I don't want you, sitting in excuse land. I want you to be in productive land. That's where you're going to allow yourself to really grow in this business. Okay, now the next thing, number 11, is trying to do it alone. You need people around you. You need people going in the same direction as you are. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I am part of a YouTube community, and that's how I learned YouTube. And that really helped me because I learned from not only the moderators and the mentors in that community, but I also learned from the things that people within the community were experiencing. You need a community around you. The second thing is that's how I learned to create courses. I was in a another community, which allowed me to do that. And then I'm in another community using the software that you see me using. I use Ecamm as my software for live streaming and for recording my videos because I can do a lot of stuff with it. I'm in another community for that. I'm in a System.io community. So all of these allow me to grow. I understand, and I hope you do as well, that trying to build a business as an island, it just does not work. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it is lonely and it's tough. And why not be able to learn from other people? That's why I opted to go with creating a community. So, I can't tell you enough. I'm not saying you have to be in my community, but you need to be in somebody's community because you need to be connected with individuals who are working on the same thing that you are. Why? Because you're going to have a lot of people around you who have never built a business, friends, family members, and so forth. And most of the stuff you're going to be dealing with, struggling with, or trying to put out into the world, they've never dealt with it. And, one thing I can tell you is it's going to be very difficult for someone who's never done something to teach you how to do it. That's why you need to be part of a community. So again, either my community or somebody else's, but you need to be in at least one, okay? All right. The other thing that I want to talk about is this, which is you got to track what's working. This is a bonus. So this is actually a number 12. Track what's working and dump what isn't. So if you're doing things and they're just not really being productive, they're not giving you the results you ultimately want to get, then you might have to rethink that. Now, if it's because you need to make some tweaks, that's fine. But again, if you're not tracking things, you're not going to know. So a lot of the platforms now have tools that will allow you to actually see how your videos performed or your reels performed or a specific post performed. Get accustomed to looking at that. It's just data. Don't let it overwhelm you. All you're looking for is, did this thing do better or worse than other things I've done? And when you find something that has done well, I want you to double down on it and do more. For example, who was it that mentioned they saw my ebook series? Can't remember who it was. I'd have to scroll back through. Somebody saw my ebook series. Well, I did a whole series. Initially, that was just going to be one video. But when I saw that it was performing through the analytics that YouTube provides, I'm like, I got to add on to this. So I have an entire playlist now. And so that's what I mean by doubling down. When something's working, you do more of it. Okay. And then the last thing on this is in terms of bonus mistakes, this is number 13, is not being willing to invest in yourself, meaning courses, training, and so forth. You have to be willing to do that. I think you heard me say that when I wanted to learn YouTube, I bought a YouTube course. When I wanted to learn how to create courses, I bought a course on how to create courses. You have to be willing to invest in yourself because there is a lot of free information out there, but I can also share with you, and some of it is really, really good. But what I can also share with you is you're going to pay one way or the other. You're either going to pay in time by going through and watching a bunch of videos or, trainings, or you're going to pay in money. And for most of us, we don't have the time to be watching 25 videos to try to piece something together. To me, that just simply leads to frustration. When you could just simply buy a course or whatever it happens to be so that you can do it. And I know sometimes when I share this with people, they're like, well, I don't have the money to do that. The first thing I'm going to tell you is stop saying that. And here's why I'm going to tell you to stop saying that. And it's because somebody told me this 30 years ago when they presented something to me and I knew it was beneficial to me. And I said something like, I can't afford that. And I remember the guy telling me, don't ever say that again. He said, when you say things like, I can't afford something, you give your brain permission to shut down and no longer figure it out. You can't afford it. You reiterated that. Instead, he said, what I want you to do, and I've been doing this ever since, he said, I want you, when something is presented to you and you don't necessarily have the money sitting in your account, I want you to ask yourself, how can I afford it? What can I do? And so I'm going to show you something quick. And this isn't anything of mine, but I just want to show you a good example of how this can actually work for you. Oh, here it is over here before I share my screen. Okay, so look at it this way. Let's say that there's a course you know could help you do your thing, whatever your thing is. And again, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just showing you how I want you to start thinking about things. And let's say the course is $297 and the person offering it is saying, "Okay, I'll do 10 payments at $34." Now, you might be thinking, "Rhonda, I thought you said you're a CPA. That doesn't work. That's $340." Well, I can tell you, if someone is offering a course and they're doing installments, 9 times out of 10, they're going to charge you more for the installment plan. All right. You got to be aware of that. So here's what I've trained my brain to do, which is, how can I find $34 a month? How can I find that? Or whatever the number is. Okay, so most of us probably have some type of streaming services. Well, cancel it. You don't necessarily have to have that. All right. Especially when you're thinking of this thing that's going to help you as an investment in yourself. Subscriptions. All of us have some kind of subscriptions we're paying for, whatever it happens to be. The gym membership, and you haven't been to the gym in 3 years, though, whatever it happens to be. So that could be something else. That might be $20 a month. Eating out. It could be Uber. It could be going out for drinks. Sometimes we have to simply say, I'm going to bet on myself, because instead of asking, how much is this going to cost? The way that I've learned to think about it is, how much can this earn me? How much can I make from this? How much time can this save me from not having to go through a bunch of different things? So I hope that helps you understand how you have to train your brain. And I don't even like using, I mean, we don't, in this household, we don't use the "I can't afford it." We just don't do that. We figure out how we can afford it. And it might mean we can't do it right now, but my brain is still working on how we can do it. And that's what I want you all to do. So whenever there is something that you're presented with that can help you move your business forward, or that can help you learn something, think in terms of, how can I do it? What options do I have available? But please get rid of those words. How can I, or I can't afford it. Because as I said, you don't want to give your brain permission to shut down and not have to resolve it. You got to get scrappy in terms of figuring business stuff out. That's why I like to say to people, for example, with my camera that I use, that you all see me on, I didn't buy this camera until I was monetized. So I had used another camera, which was older, poor, not quality wasn't horrible, but it was out there. But what I said was, okay, once I'm monetized, I can expect I'm going to make X number of dollars, and that's how I'm going to pay for the camera. That's the way you've got to do things. All the equipment that you see, YouTube's AdSense program paid for it, because I made my brain, I made a list of stuff I wanted and that I felt I needed. And then I made my brain go to work on how we were going to fix it, how we were going to get it, because I didn't want to come out of my own pocket. And that's the way I want you to think about things. I want you to force your brain into problem solving mode, because as an entrepreneur, we get paid to solve problems. We may as well solve our own problems as well. So these are things I want you to really get accustomed to doing, and the way I want you to think about things. And so this is why it's important to be around people that are going the direction that you want to ultimately go, because the people who have never done what you want to do cannot mentor you. They can't coach you. And oftentimes, I'm just going to keep it real, they're going to talk you out of it, or at least attempt to talk you out of it. And so, I remember something that Les Brown, I went to one of his conferences, and one of the things he said was, listen, I am not going to let somebody who is overweight tell me how to lose weight. I'm not going to let somebody who is bald teach me how to grow hair. And I am certainly not going to teach have someone who is broke teach me how to make money. Okay, so that's why I'm very careful about the advice I receive from people, and that I decide I'm going to incorporate it. I'm getting it from people who have done what I want to do. All right, so let's take a look and make sure I want to to do this. Okay, Mickey says she's got it. Let's see. I think I'll need to get some filter lenses for my camera so I don't have to put on makeup. No, you don't. My camera has a filter lens in it. So you can do that. But you know what? Maybe that's part of your brand. You just don't even deal with makeup. There are creators out there that are like that, so you don't have to worry about it. Um, let's see here. Denise, what were you referring to that you have to get done? I'm sorry, I'm a little late with the comments here. And let's see. Mickey says, I love that. How can I make this happen? I'm telling you, when you put your brain to work on something, how can I do it? You're going to be shocked at the things that your brain will come up with. And, we always call that getting scrappy. If you can't afford to buy, or if you don't have the money currently to purchase a tripod, then stack some books up and make it happen. That's getting scrappy. If you don't currently have the money to attend a conference that you want to go to, then how can you make that happen? That's the way your brain has to be programmed. And it's going to take some programming, because if you've gotten accustomed to saying, I can't afford it, you're going to have to stop yourself every time that thought comes into your head and replace it. And one thing I can tell you is you cannot have two simultaneous thoughts going on in your brain at the same time. So the minute you say, I can't afford it, you're going to have to use, I learned this from Tony Robbins. I've done several of his seminars. He said, you've got to say cancel, and then you replace it with a new thought. And that new thought is, how can I do this? All right. So, all right. Yes. I like the reasoning. Yes, because I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised. Try this one time. If there's something you're trying to figure out before you go to bed, I want you to say, hey, listen, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know exactly how to do it, but I need some, I need my brain to kind of mull this over and come up with some solutions. And I'm telling you, you're going to be shocked at some things that will happen. So, all right. Yep. Careful about the advice. Absolutely. Yeah. You really got to be careful about that. Yes, get it done so I can promote it, because I'm definitely going to be promoting it. And I'm pretty good at promoting stuff. So definitely want y'all to do that. All right. So before we wrap up, as I mentioned, I always like to give you a little bit of mindset training. And one of the things that I want you to understand is that, you may think there's a lot to figure out in terms of getting your business, your online business going, and there is. But what I want you to understand is, if other people have figured it out, you can figure it out too. And so, when you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes that's when you have to take a step back, go for a walk, go for a drive, read a book, watch a movie, do whatever it is. Give your brain some time to kind of settle down, because it's very difficult to make decisions or figure things out when you're stressing yourself. So I want you to know that you can do this. You just have to be around people going in the same direction that you're going in. You have to have people that you can bounce ideas off of, because what you're going to find is with most entrepreneurs, they have a group around them. They might call it an accountability partner. They might call it a mastermind group. They might call it a community. But if you've been struggling, it might simply be because you're trying to go at this alone. And this is not the type of thing. This is not like, in school where you have to take a test and you do it by yourself. In this one, what we're doing here, it's always open book. The test is always open book. So once somebody figures it out, then they can share it with others. Hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you give me some suggestions on how you were able to get through it? So remember, you've got to be able to have a group of folks around you that can help you move forward, that can help answer your questions, people that can help shorten your learning curve, because you can do this. So if you're struggling, it's probably, and you see other people succeeding, it's probably because they've built a support system around them. They've built a team of people around them. They're part of a community. They have an accountability partner, and that's how they're moving their business forward. But the minute you say to yourself, I can't do it, or I'm struggling, you're giving yourself permission to quit. And if this is something you really want, quitting's not an option. It just isn't. You know, we have to just say to ourselves, I can figure this out. I'm pretty smart. I can figure this out. I can find the resources. And that's the way you've got to start approaching things. I can figure it out. Marie Forleo, who's a business coach in the online world, she always says everything is figure outable. And that is true. Everything that we do here, because remember, we're not, trying to send a rocket to the moon. We're just simply trying to build an audience and create products that help people who are experiencing some type of issue that we can resolve, which means this stuff can be figured out. And chances are you're struggling with something that you don't need to struggle with because somebody else has figured it out and will teach it to you. All right. So wherever you are in this journey is where you're supposed to be. And in time, the right information is going to come to you. The right people are going to come into your audience. The right types of product ideas are going to be asked of you to actually create. So it's all going to work out. You just got to give yourself time. You've got to give yourself some grace. You have to just say to yourself, it's all gonna come together. It's just gonna take me a little while. And the last thing I'll say about this is you are never going to compare yourself to someone else. You're just not gonna do that because you're running a race where you're the only person who's in the race. You're not comparing yourself to someone who got started, 3 weeks after you did, and now, their audience is at, 10,000 subscribers. That was just their journey. That's not yours. And sometimes, I feel like you're going to be held back a little bit in terms of progress because there are things you still need to learn. And that's okay. We're all learning every single day. All right. So I'm here on Wednesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern time. If you enjoyed this content and it helped you, give it some thumbs up. I also appreciate you sharing it with anyone that is perhaps on a business journey and that could benefit from this information. And again, if you think that the Digital Business Roadmap, my school community, could be helpful to you and you want to be a part of that, you're welcome to join. The link again is in the video description that is below this video. So with that being said, I appreciate you being online and on live with me. And I also want to make sure that you know that, I'm here, I'm cheering for you, and I can't wait to celebrate you. So have an awesome day and an even better week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.